The Extraordinary Phenomenon Investigations Council presents Epic Voyages. Come join us as we enter and experience the great mysteries of the world with tonight's host,
Michelle Quazi.
Thank you all for joining us on Epic Voyages. I'm Michelle Quazi, your host this evening, and my guest is author of Open the Mind, Exercise the Soul, John Cappello. John's a gifted psychic medium whose work focuses on the positives of the study of existence beyond the physical. He'll be offering brief readings this evening to callers throughout the program, and you can call us on our toll-free number at 888-919-2355. That's 888-919-2355. Welcome, John. It's good to have you.
Hi, how are you this evening?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for allowing me to be on your program this evening.
Great. It's a pleasure. We'd like to just start with a little bit of background information, if we could, from you. What your background is. For instance, first, how long have you been a psychic medium, and what was your reason for entering this type of work?
Well, I started to gain an interest in being a psychic or learning about psychics shortly after the death of my father in 1992. He used to own some buildings, and when he passed away, I had to kind of take over his business. And some of his employees thought they were seeing him appear in the buildings, and so I brought in some psychics, and they felt like his presence was there. And what I did was I took some courses, and I found out that I had a natural ability to do this kind of work. But I practiced for quite a long time. I practiced for 5 years before I did anything professionally, and I went full time in 2008. And I feel like I'm able to help people. I'm able to help people have some closure or get some healing after the loss of a loved one, and my work has been very successful up until this time, and that's why I decided to write a book about my experiences and how I think some of this stuff works. So like I say, I've been in it for a number of years, and I guess this is my 20th year as learning about being a psychic and working with energy from, if you want to say, beyond the physical. So
that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about your book, if you would. Open the Mind, Exercise the Soul. Can you tell us what it's about?
Yes, it's about some of my experiences as a psychic medium, and it goes through the various psychic senses and how we use our soul's energy to capture information from other people's energy fields. And it's about learning how to interpret that energy with either our eyes or our clairvoyance, our clairaudience, or our intuition, which is our psychic thoughts from my perspective, and or our psychic feelings. And so the book goes into detail about how we use our own energy to kind of envelop other people's souls or their energies, and how we are able to capture strings of information from them, and it's about learning how to interpret that information by knowing ourselves. So if we learn about ourselves, and we learn about how certain things feel to us when we encounter those impressions from other people, we're able to interpret what's going on in their lives. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's a mechanism that we all have, and we have various mechanisms with our feelings, our vision, our hearing, or even our smells and tastes. And we're able to pick up what's going on around us, and by using our soul's energy, and it's fascinating. But it's very valid, and we use it interchangeably with our physical senses. A lot of times people will say we have a sixth sense, or we have ESP, and I feel like those can be limiting in the sense that they indicate that there's only one aspect of our psychic ability. I feel like we have extensions of our physical senses, and so we have more than one sixth sense, so to speak. So that's what the book is basically about.
That makes sense. So your motivation, would you say your motivation to write the book was to help people develop these skills?
Yes, I want them to know that they have these individual talents or these individual skills, and they use them all together. But what I try to do in the book is I try to break them out on a singular basis, because a lot of times we're stronger in one particular skill or one particular gift than others. And a lot of times one of our gifts, let's say our psychic feelings, will be a door opener for our other psychic abilities. Our feelings may create visions, or they may create thoughts, or they may create other impressions that we're able to interpret and correctly interpret about a situation or a person. So hopefully we'll be able to give you some examples here when we open up the phone lines. But a lot of times we get psychic impressions in more than one way. We can focus, and we can pick up energy consciously from another person. But a lot of times we get psychic information suddenly or on an involuntary basis. And sometimes we get psychic information when we're dreaming as well. So we have a lot of tools at our disposal, or we have a lot of opportunities to capture information which is beyond our normal consciousness. It's just recognizing it and accepting it and learning how to interpret it.
Okay, so being aware then.
Being aware and raising our energy and raising our consciousness, or allowing this information not to be ignored, so to speak, because so many times we ignore information that comes to us. And a good example is like a first impression. A first impression is often something that we dismiss because we say to ourselves, this person is not what we are thinking they are or feeling that they are, and then later on, after maybe some trials and tribulations, we find out that our first impression was correct. And almost to a T, everyone tells me that they've had a first impression about someone that they didn't listen to, or they didn't take seriously, and they later regretted it.
Yes, that's a good example. That seems to happen often. So
it does.
And just a reminder to our audience that the phone lines are open for brief readings. Again, the phone number is 888-919-2355, and you can call anytime throughout the program to speak with John with questions you may have. Let's talk about how did the book get its name?
Well, the book got its name because I felt that the people need to, first of all, have an open mind to accept their psychic abilities. And usually the people that are interested in psychic abilities are those that are have a disposition to learn more. And so open the mind, exercise the soul gives it that spiritual side to it, which I wanted it to have, because we are unique in that our soul's energy is so special, and it goes beyond our lifetime of our physical body. So I feel like I felt like open the mind, exercise the soul would be a good way to communicate my concept of how psychic ability works and how we needed to look at our gifts. So you first have to have the open mind in order to exercise the energy of your soul. So that's how it got its name.
Okay. And describe what you mean by exercise the soul. How can we do that?
Well, we exercise the soul by doing what you were saying a while ago, just being more aware, accepting information that we normally dismiss, accepting information we normally ignore, those first impressions that we were just talking about, accepting that and being maybe just a little bit more cautious before we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to a particular person. Just kind of check out to see if our feelings or those first impressions were correct, and so what we will do is we exercise our soul by accepting that information and using it on a regular basis. And as we learn to use it on a regular basis, then we are exercising our soul's energy. Does that hopefully that makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Hello?
So we do have a caller on the line now. We'd like to have join us. Hello, how are you doing?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
You have a question for John?
Yes. What information do you need from me?
Okay. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Irv. I'm calling from Dallas.
You're calling from Dallas. Did you have a question or a comment about some of the things we've been talking about?
I have a question that I'd like you to tell me. My wife and I have had some incredibly difficult financial times over the past, years. And I'm curious if we are at the end and we're going to start going uphill and start going in a positive direction. I'm just wondering if you could feel that for us.
Okay. I'm sorry. What did you say your name was again? Did you say?
Irv.
Irv? Okay.
Irv, IRV.
Okay, Irv, I feel like you're near the bottom, okay? And have both of you had to change jobs, or are you currently working now?
Yeah, I'm working for myself.
You're working for yourself. I feel like right now you're near the bottom. You've pretty much have finished your sorting things out, and so you've learned how to live kind of in a new environment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You have a little bit more sorting out to do. I think that you've been emotionally attached to certain things that you've had to give up, and so this is why it's been particularly difficult for you to move forward, because we're in such a structurally things are changing structurally in our society, and we're having to learn to live in these new environments. But I do think that this year you're going to start moving up, okay? And you didn't lose a home or anything, did you, during this process, did you?
No. Close.
Close to losing a home? Okay. Are you thinking about possibly selling this house or moving to a place that is a little bit cheaper to live in?
Well, the thought is in our mind, but I don't think we really can't for at least 6 to 8 months.
You can't? Okay. There is that possibility that you may make another move. You may sell this place where you're at, and you may move to a place which is even a little bit more affordable. Okay, because it seems that you're really serious about getting things on track. But you haven't emotionally let loose of everything just yet in order to do that. But you are on the right track. You're just near that bottom, and when you finally hit that bottom, which is probably going to be this summer, you will start to move up. You will start to move forward. So,
Cool.
So I'm optimistic for you. Is your wife's income been kind of up and down?
She's not been working. So
She's not working just yet?
No.
Okay, she hasn't had an illness or anything around her, has she?
She did have. We both did for quite a long time, and that impacted us financially in a big way.
Yeah, and that's why I think that she's in recovery, and she is she may be ready to start work, or she may want to try to find some ways to make some money to kind of help the general situation. But I hope that you will continue being optimistic. I think you persevered through a great deal of hardship, and I think that the rest of the ride is going to be a soft landing, and then you're going to start that ride upward. But I do caution you that as you're building up, sometime it appears that you're still struggling. Okay, so climbing up a ladder is often as hard as going down. So just be aware that it's going to be good that you're moving up, but it's still going to be, kind of a hard road. So what type of work do you do?
I'm a builder, developer.
You're a builder, developer? Okay. Well, then you're having to deal with banks and financing and things like that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, that may be where your difficulties are, because it seems like you may have difficulties getting the funding for each particular project. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So as you're building up, you're just going to have to persevere through it. But I feel like you're tough enough, and I feel like you're going to do it. And I think that in the next couple of years, you're gonna be glad that you fought through this difficulty. So it wouldn't surprise me if a year from now you told me that you sold this particular house that you're in, and you got yourself another one, or you put yourself in a position to where you were just at the bare minimum so that you could move up and got yourself another house. So I'm optimistic for you. It's just that it's a tough time for a lot of people right now. Okay?
Sure is. That's great.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Irv. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay.
John, we have another caller from area code 774 who's calling in. Are you with us? Hello?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hello. May I ask your name?
This is Ted.
Ted, okay. Ted, did you have a question or comment for me?
Kind of the same thing, echoing what Irv was saying. I'm kind of going through a lot of some similar things, and I'm wondering what you're seeing or feeling from me.
Ted, where are you calling from?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, okay. Ted, have you ever been in some type of service organization or done any kind of law enforcement or been in any kind of discipline where there was a group of people involved?
No.
No, you haven't been in what type of work do you do?
Engineering, technical support would be probably a better description.
Okay, well, that's pretty disciplined, isn't it, to be an engineer?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
yeah, I thought you just were going with the military or...
Well, it just seems like you're the places you work with. Is there a regimen, or does everybody have to kind of follow a certain routine, or it just seems like you have a lot of discipline that you have to follow in order to get your work done. At least that's what I'm seeing. Now, as far as an engineer is concerned, I think your particular situation is actually a little bit easier than our first caller. Have you had to go through some job changes?
Yes.
Okay, but you are employed right now, is that correct?
No, I am not.
You're not? Okay, well, you're close to being employed. Do you have some resumes out there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Been trying.
Okay, I think Ted, that you're close to being employed. Once you get employed, I think that it's going to be like a fish to water. I think that you're going to do really well. Okay. So I think that have you been doing odd jobs or anything like that?
No, just a lot of stuff around the house and getting our situation taken care of.
Okay, all right, because maybe that's the odd jobs, just as the honeydew projects. Is that right?
Yeah, basic stuff that I normally don't do, I guess.
Okay, normally stuff that you don't do. Okay. Now, also, are you a late night person? Are you a person that likes to be up and do things in the middle of the night?
I tend to think I am, yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, it's just I may not be describing some of the things that the way that you would take them, but I feel like I am on target. I feel like you have had some discouragement around you, but you two need to keep pounding the pavement. Have you applied at any municipalities or anything like that for work?
I looked into it a little bit. Didn't see much going on there, though.
Okay. Well, I hate to keep pushing you towards government and things like that, but there may be some type of government work, or there may be some type of work that you could get as an engineer that's going to help you work with some public projects, or there may be a company that may have you work with some that may do some public projects. Or is that the kind of engineer that you are?
I could be. I was been leaning towards something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Like community development or building development projects.
Okay, because I think that's the area that you need to be going into. I feel like your particular area in Massachusetts is getting ready to come out of this slump. It just feels like there's getting ready to be some kind of boom around you. So just continue to put yourself in that position of being ready to go to work as soon as they call, so that you can get started with your new career. Okay.
Okay, John. And one quick thing: do you see anything regarding family for me? Anything there that sticks out?
Okay. You are married, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Has your wife been crying or upset here lately?
Yes, she has.
Okay. Do you have older children?
10 years old is my oldest, and another child, younger, 4.
Younger. Okay. Because it just seems that your wife has been distraught, and that it just seems like both of you have had to kind of really watch your pennies here lately, and maybe worried about your kids a little bit. You're trying to shelter them, of course. Have you had family helping you during this difficult period?
Very little.
Very little. Okay.
Difficult for everyone.
But are you close to your parents, or have your parents helped you with the kids, maybe, or watched them, or something like that?
No, we live far away.
You live far away. Okay. I don't know why I see your kids. Maybe they're just going off to school or something, but it just seems like they're away. Let me just see if I can tap into what's. Do you want to embellish on what's going on with?
Yeah, there is something. Yeah, with my specifically with my wife and a pregnancy.
Okay, so it has to do with children. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Has she had is she currently pregnant, or is there a difficulty with the pregnancy right now?
Well, yeah, she was pregnant.
Did she lose the child?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's the distance. Then. It's almost like your wife in some ways has kind of isolated herself in a way, just to kind of protect her emotions. And so a lot of times it's difficult to pick out what exactly why I felt like she was isolated, or your children were kind of, she was just kind of setting them aside in a way, but emotionally. But I feel like let me just see here. Has she? It just seems like her going outside in the springtime and the sun and all those things are helpful to her. Has she been going outside, or is there a lake or a pond around you?
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. We live by the water.
You do live by the water? Okay. Is this the ocean, or is this just a...
Yeah, we're on the coast. Yep.
You're on the coast, okay. Because I really feel like she gets a lot of healing energy from the ocean, from the water. And another thing is that, do you know what this child was? Was this a little girl that she lost?
Oh, we didn't know. Yeah.
You didn't know? Okay. Because it's a little girl. It's a little girl energy, and just let her know that her little girl is with her, and that it loves her. She's telling me that your wife sometimes feels like this is maybe her fault, but this was not your wife's fault that she lost her child. Okay. It just was not this little girl's time to be here. Okay. And so this is a time for your wife to really take good care of herself. She should not put a time limit on her to recover from her grieving. She should just allow herself to heal over some time. But I do feel like she is going to heal from this, and that she will be smiling and happy again. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, thank you, John, for the extra time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
Right. Let's just how you're communicating with these guides or spirits during these calls. Let's talk a little bit about that. How do you communicate with spirits or other entities?
Well, it's recognizing a presence, and I don't mean to dissect what was going on with Ted just now, but because they had this tragedy around them, they have kind of emotionally isolated themselves. You know, we all do that when we're in grief. We kind of go within ourselves. And I was seeing his wife crying, and at first I couldn't understand what it was that she was crying about. I really didn't feel like they had problems between the two of them. But I kept feeling like she was pushing her children away, because the children kept coming up, if you noticed that. And so then when he said they lost